We don't do that with
No, we really don't.
Yeah,
I think it's unfair.
it
I don't know.
is. It is unfair. I'm not saying it's not. However, I think that's interesting though because it goes back to that old saying about what would you rather have, 13 points or 13 assists? And in Lonzo Ball's case, well, in everybody's case, they should want 13
You
assists.
want 13 assists.
Right.
That's for those of you struggling to keep track at home. That's at least 26 points.
Yeah, as opposed to just 13 points. And that's something that he brings to the table, which is very... I agree. I think we give him a lot of crap because he scored so much at UCLA, and now he's not necessarily an afterthought because it's Lonzo Ball. However, like, it's not... He hasn't really been that successful so far, but his team's so young, and their coaching really isn't there yet.
Part of it is the guy played like 30 games or something this year.
Yeah,
and
he-
it's his second year.
Right, he's also battling injuries since he's
Yeah.
gotten in the league.
And he's a point guard. If you're out on a point guard after a year and a half, Marco Fultz,
Yeah,
then I feel like you're kind of an idiot at this point because it takes a long time because you have to the game. I know they make a really big deal about the game slowing down for players in football especially.
yeah. Oh god.
But
yeah.
like for point guards, like the game really does have to slow down for point guards because
Yeah,
there's so
definitely.
much you have to worry about in the NBA, and that's why like the biggest thing that I heard, like I literally didn't believe it when Simmons mentioned this in his book, but Rick Pitino traded Chauncey Billups 50 games in his rookie season.
oh my god, you're absolutely right.
Like I didn't know that. That is the most insane thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Can you imagine just cutting bait on a rookie point guard 50 games into his rookie season?
No, not at all.
That's actually insane.
That really is, dude. That's such an interesting story too because he's. I think it's more of a testament, honestly, to Chauncey Billups, right? Because like to get over that, like
I guess, yeah. I mean, the thing is, like,
Rick
Chauncey's not-
Pitino's never going to coach again in the United States.
God, I hope not. Are you kidding me?
I know, right?
maybe NBA.
Maybe,
I hope not,
but I don't
please.
want to be
No,
the
no,
NBA
no,
team that
no.
takes him back.
The
That's
20
the
years
thing.
after Chauncey cut, or 20 years after Pitino traded Chauncey, you're going to bring him back to headline some garbage rebuild in like Washington or something? No thanks, dude.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Somebody will do it. They always
You-
do something stupid
yeah.
in the NBA.
Yeah. He's not. I mean, he's not wrong. However, I think that there are a lot of more talented coaches currently on the
Yeah.
market. Like Frank Vogel doesn't have a job right now.
It's also appalling, kind of.
Stan Van Gundy doesn't have a job right now.
Sam Van Gundy maybe shouldn't have a job right now.
Luke Walton very soon.
Well, Luke Wall. That's what we've been talking about. That who should replace him?
Oh, God. The answer is nobody should replace Luke Walton, first of all. That is the obvious answer, is that nobody should replace Luke Walton. But
if you
apparently that's
have
not an
to-
option.
But if you have to, you have to take into account that Minnesota's job is there,
Here's the thing, is actually...
and he would fit very well with.
Listen,
Cat.
I know. I love you brought that up, and I was like, I actually love that for Luke because that's an actual place where he could do something as opposed to like look over a rebuild in fucking Washington or some trash place. Like,
Yeah, because that's what I said originally. I was
Yeah.
like, I was like, he's going to replace Scotty Brooks, and you were like, I don't want that, and I was like, I don't want that either.
I don't know. I just want him to go somewhere. This is the thing is actually, I feel like there's kind of two camps on Walton at this point, where it's like you either think he's a terrible coach because of the way he was with the Lakers, and anyone could have coached that Warriors team, or you're sort of like in the same boat as me, where you actually think there's a pretty good amount of merit to a coach. It's just hard to separate that from what he's done so far because of how garbage all the situations he's been in have been for like actually discerning the amount of value he adds as a coach. It's sort of like Mike McCarthy in Green Bay. It's like how much of his legacy is entangled with Aaron Rodgers just being an actual fucking wizard.
Yeah, I agree. I think, well, in that case specifically, I think as pro franchises get used to having a guy, right? Like,
Yeah.
like Marvin Lewis is a perfect example. Like,
Oh my God, he's gone, right? He's not
Oh,
in
yeah,
Cincinnati
yeah. He
anymore.
finally got-
finally, okay.
finally got
I was
fired.
trying to make sure I didn't just hallucinate that or something.
but it's just like, but it's weird how some of these teams pick loyalties to certain guys.
I know, it's really whack.
Like at first, like I didn't understand the whole like why is Pat Riley so loyal to Eric Spoelstra? And then as I started doing some more research into it and started learning more about Eric Spoelstra, that was when I was kind of like, okay, now I get it because
Yeah.
he's paid his dues and he's been with this organization for a very long time. He was a film boy.
That's insane.
You know, and
Yeah.
he worked his ass off, and then he got the Heatles. You know, and obviously now the Heat aren't as dominant as they were, but they also have kind of shot themselves in the foot with terrible contracts and different things like that.
They look like the Nets after the KG Paul Pierce trade right now.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, they paid Goran so much money, and same thing with Hassan. They
Yeah,
paid
I
them
know.
both so much money.
They're actually going to keep Tyler Johnson, I believe, which is a very good thing.
They still got to.
Man.
Actually, no. It's either Tyler Johnson or Josh Richardson. One of those two is actually really
They
good.
should keep Jay Rich.
Yeah, it's Jay Rich. It's Jay Rich.
Jay
Yeah.
Rich is awesome.
Jay Rich is really good.
However, like it's just I can understand that loyalty in the sense, but there's like unnecessary loyalties in the NBA.
I don't know. Maybe Steve Clifford in Charlotte for a little bit.
Steve Clifford.
I feel
in
like
Charlotte?
I mean, I think Clifford's a fine coach, but like I feel like after a while, if it's obviously not working out, then maybe you got to cut bait or just give him a chance.
That's not as a sexy answer as I want.
No,
Doc
it's obviously
Rivers
not.
In LA.
No, actually, I think you could have made a case for that before this year. I think.
Yeah,
but
I
I think
think-
I think it's done after this year.
Back when Chris Paul was there and that team, I
I
could
don't
understand
know how
that.
they couldn't
Get past
that first round.
get to the
I
Western
can tell you,
Conference Finals.
it's
Yeah.
something called some combination of ACLs, other knee ligaments, and shoulders and stuff. That's the issue. They talk themselves into the worst trap possible, which is, oh well, we have bad injury luck. It's like at some point after like 4 straight years of it, it's not luck.
Like as a Boston guy, I'm happy with what Doc did this year, but I'm surprised they stuck with him for so long.
I know. I mean, the writing. It looked like the writing was on the wall for him just over the course of the last 2 years or so.
Right.
I think it was only a matter of time before he was on his way out. And I don't know. The Clippers, to me, they have been the most surprising team in basketball this year. I don't think there's a close second.
Not the Nets or the Kings.
No, are you kidding me? They're way better than both the Nets and the Kings.
I mean SGA. We love
yeah,
SGA.
I mean,
on the
yeah, I
pod.
loved SGA coming out of the draft, but it's like what Doc has done, especially before the Tobias Harris trade. There was some reasonable answer for it. They have an all-star caliber player, and they're, at the wing position, a very important position. He's an incredibly balanced offensive player. They have Lou Williams coming off the bench. They have a very good rookie. They have a very balanced and deep squad, actually, which I think is something that's getting maybe not as talked about as much, especially with Danilo Gallinari. He's playing incredible basketball right now, probably the best of his career, like 8 years after he got packaged from Denver to New York
It
New
was,
York to
it was from
Denver.
New York to
New
Denver.
York to Denver
in
from
the
LO.
Carmelo
Yeah.
trade with Wilson Chandler.
Yeah, with Wilson Chandler. And that's why it's really surprising that this is like the second best Clippers team
Yeah.
in the last 20 years.
I mean, I have another example for non-loyalty, and that is Mark Jackson.
I don't
Golden
actually.
State.
I mean, that's a really weird example, actually, because it's sort of like Steve Kerr is really who I think who deserves credit for the Draymond Green revelation, and that's really what kicked it off. Was they realized that Draymond's some omnipositional freak that you can sort of help be a primarily ball handler in your offense, and is a very good defensive player. He sort of anchors everything for them, and I don't think he gets enough credit for that.
What about Dwayne Casey? Lack of loyalty.
Something kind of had to change there. I don't.
You think that was a Marvin Lewis situation?
No, I think that was Masai. I think that was Masai Ujiri. I think that's obviously his team
I
now.
think Toronto's
yeah.
success is less of a coaching thing, more of a talent. Because what Nurse has done, it looks exactly like Casey did last year. The problem is playoffs.
You know what the biggest thing is?
Yeah, I mean his postseason record was pretty
Guys,
tremendous.
they turned-
Pretty.
They turned DeMar DeRozan and Jacob Poeltl into Danny Green and Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
That is a marginal upgrade.
No, I totally agree. Like I said when it happened, that they got the best player in the East. Well, of course, this was before Giannis Antetokounmpo
Giannis is
decided that he was going to be better than LeBron James, and like it's just,
Giannis. I've been waiting for this one, guys.
dude, I don't know how he fell so far. Like this is ridiculous.
I can tell you why. He had literally for a lot of this.
Was it just lack of film? Like I don't understand.
You know why? He still doesn't kind of have a functional offensive game, and this is before they decided that they were going to make him a ball handler. So it's like, what do you do with a wing who's 6'11" and can't shoot?
Well, if you look at him now compared to then, he was skinny.
Yeah, that's the
like,
thing.
Now he looks like a truck.
He looks like he's some LeBron James looking ass power
Looking ass
guard
boy.
thing. Yeah, like he's a freak. I don't know. The
Dude,
guy
he's
he
a
averages
beast.
like 28 a game on dunks, layups, and free throws still.
That is,
I love him
a
on my
freak.
fantasy team.
dude.
It's
he's a
it's
freak.
hilarious.
He's
Like,
a freak.
I know he is. I'm sorry, the guy's an alien.
Too bad Thanos couldn't have done that too.
Thanasis.
The Knicks took a chance.
Yeah. You know he's got 2 other brothers too.
Does he really? I
Yeah,
did not
there's
know that.
Costas and Alex too.
Alex.
Yeah.
3 Greek names.
Yeah, they got
then you have
Giannis,
Alex.
Costas, and Thanasis, and we have Alex.
That's hilarious. I also think that he's also got the personality to really boost his stock as
Who,
a
Giannis?
star. Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
dude, he's he's a character.
As soon as he started mean mugging people in like his second year on Milwaukee, I was like, all right, we got something here.
Dude, when he posted that video post Christmas, I was like, my guy, what are you doing? I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh man, I remember that.
Greek freak in the sheets.
Yeah, I love Giannis.
Dude, fuck, he's so hilarious. Yeah, I guess in basketball there's there's more loyalty than non-loyalty. I think in baseball there's less loyalty to managers. I think they always put the blame on the managers first.
Like how long was
Like Aaron Boone was a huge scapegoat last year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean,
For the Yankees' abysmal starting pitching, we blame Booney for everything.
I don't know how you blame Booney for the starting pitching woes when
because
you just not want to scapegoat Cashman for it. Like I don't,
they
I don't
want
get it.
the thought process of guys like Mad Dog and different things like that. They want and Francesco. They want him to be quick with a hook.
Oh,
And Booney being a former player, he doesn't agree with that ideology because it can hurt somebody's it can hurt somebody's ego.
yeah.
It can hurt somebody's
you can
mind.
you can actually damage people doing that.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
mean, look at the biggest example. That's probably Deshaun Kaiser.
Oh my gosh,
I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
believe that guy's NFL career might literally be over after one season in Cleveland under whoever the fuck that guy's name
Hugh
is.
Jackson?
Yeah, God, you deserve to never have a job in football again after what you did to that poor man.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he currently is employed right now, which
He's
is
offensive coordinator in Cincinnati or something.
no. He left with the Marvin Lewis regime.
Thank God.
Where's Kaiser at now?
Kaiser's
Bay
in
still?
Green Bay.
Yeah, he's still in Green
He's
Bay.
the backup for Rodgers.
That's fine.
He's gonna be stuck there forever.
That's
Which I'm sure he's content
that's
with.
Fine. You have backup quarterback in football behind someone is.
Still
I
former.
feel like that wasn't
Notre
his
Dame guy.
dream coming out of Notre Dame.
Well, I
though.
mean,
No, of course
it's not.
not.
But at the same time, it's the NFL.
It's a
Anyway,
paycheck, man. Paycheck.
baseball. Original topic. Sorry.
Yeah, no, but that's what I wanted to kind of say because like even with Boston, like Terry Francona was a pretty pivotal figure in Boston's turnaround.
Absolutely.
You know? And they turn him around. And
Y'all won
it's
3
like,
World
see ya.
Series with Tito. I'm pretty sure.
I know it was the 04 and then again in
07.
2007.
I don't know if he was there for 11 though.
Then he retired or something along the lines of that in 2000. I think he ended up leaving the team in 2011, maybe.
So I think they beat the Cardinals in 11, if I remember correctly.
I don't. Let me just look it up real
I
quick.
don't know who the GM. I don't know who the manager was then. It might have been the guy that replaced him. Although I remember his tenure.
John Farrell came after Francona.
Yeah, I know Farrell's tenure was a little weird.
Yeah, it was. So let's go to 2013. So it went 04, 07, 2013.
It was 13. Okay.
And
Sorry.
in 2013, the manager
It would have been Farrell. It
was
would have been Farrell. in 13.
So all right. So let me just quickly search Terry Francona, which I think what killed his career wasn't necessarily lack of loyalty. I mean, it was because it was like, hey, thanks, but we have to cut you. And I think it had more to do with the whole scandal of, or was it? When was the year of the John Lackey, John Lester,
the
and
chicken and
yeah,
yeah.
and
God, that's a good
what
question.
the hell's his name? Josh Beckett.
Yeah, they're the Triple J's.
I hate Josh Beckett to this day. I hate Josh Beckett. So he
I have
left.
no idea what year that was.
He left Boston in 2011. So
Okay.
he did. He left in 2011, and he went to Cleveland in 2013 because I remember that because he was on Baseball Tonight.
Yeah, he was.
on ESPN.
He was great, by the way.
Yeah, he was a great TV guy. So I have a lot of respect for Francona for sure.
Yeah, Tito's great. He's probably one of the
And-
more well-liked managers in baseball.
Yeah, I can't.
Him and Madden, I think, are probably the 2 most liked ones, if I had to guess.
Y'all are talking about the chicken and beer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
chicken
yeah.
and
It's
Beer, chicken and beer thing.
2015.
2015. So that was
wow.
under Farrell.
Yeah.
So it was under Farrell.
Yeah, Farrell's tenure was very weird.
Which I mean, if Carlos Santana was on that team,
Man, we'd have bigger issues.
he would have destroyed them. He
Yeah.
would have beaten them up. Poor. Hey, that's a Fortnite ad in itself, I guess.
Yeah.
What a beast. So that's just one example, I think, of disloyalty in sports. Hey, thanks for the 2 World Series. We're gonna move forward in a different direction. And
So this thing, was that Epstein was behind firing Tito? Or because I think, didn't Epstein leave for the Cubs before then?
Epstein left for the Cubs, I believe, around the same time.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think
Because
it
then
happened
they brought
roughly
in
at the same time.
they brought in Dombrowski to be president of baseball ops and GM.
Nebraska's still there, right?
Yep. And John Henry, who's the owner of Boston, he brought in, I believe he immediately brought in Farrell after that. So, and then of course John Farrell left on a super poor note with them, and for Toronto, like he totally told John Henry off and was like, I'm going away, so I'll see you later.
I'm leaving for much less green pastures,
Well, he was just like
much more artificially green pastures.
they just clashed and clashed and clashed. They want because it was the same situation that it always is the owner is a little bit hands-on, and Dombrowski specifically is very hands-on.
That's fine, I think, for the most part. I'll give Nebraska the benefit of the doubt considering the team he's put together.
Well, I mean, I definitely think that the money helps, but I will give you this. They have a lot of in-house talent. They have Mookie, Benintendi,
Bradley,
Brock
Bogarts.
Holt, Bogarts.
They got a lot of bees.
Right. They just have a ton of guys there that they've brought in homegrown, and then Dombrowski has the luxury of the of money.
Yeah.
You know, he has the luxury of John Henry's checkbook, and he's like, okay, JD Martinez, how much is it going to be? Chris Sale, how much is it going to be?
In his defense, the JD Martinez signing basically should have done itself at that point. JD's only getting like $22 million a year or something, which is unbelievable.
Well, then, I mean, Dombrowski's kind of might shoot himself in the foot here too, because
With the Mookie thing,
you got to pay him.
You got to pay that man.
You got to pay the man, and don't fuck around, bro.
Why are you lowballing the reigning AL MVP and like he's like the third best player in baseball, something at worst?
I think I tweeted this out yesterday. I tweeted my
Yeah, I saw
NLB
you had him. I
picks.
saw you have him going back to back.
I think that he's going to be MVP this year, and I'm not taking that back. I think that
I think you're out of your mind, but whatever.
You think Mookie Betts isn't going to win MVP?
Nope.
Who do you think is MVP? Trout?
You think you heard of Mike Trout?
I mean,
If the Angels are good,
that's what I'm saying. I think a lot of it's just like in basketball where your team's success really helps your case as an MVP. Mike Trout is going to suffer from the same
How many MVP does Mike
as
Trout
LeBron
have?
James.
He's got 1, 2.
I believe he's a 2-time MVP.
And how many times have the Angels made the playoffs since Mike Trout's?
He's only been in the playoffs once,
yeah.
but he didn't get any further than that.
I know.
I was kind of sad that he signed the extension because I want him to play for somebody good for once.
I thought he was going to go
I think the
to like
Angels
the
are actually
Cubbies.
gonna be
He's
a-
actually a 3-timer. Or no. I'm sorry. He's a 2-timer, like I said. He won in 2014, 2016. He was nominated in 2018.
Okay, he finished second last year, right?
Finished second last year. So I think that it's going to be, I think Betts, and then I think the AL Cy Young is going to be Garrett. I think Garrett Cole has a lot of upside this year. So I wrote him down on the tweet, but I'm also
You're looking at Blake Snell, right?
no, I'm actually not looking at Blake. He got rocked today. He gave up 4 runs. It's the first. I mean, it's opening day.
It's one day.
But he, but I also was going to throw in Kluber. I think Kluber's always in there for me.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are saying Chris Sale or bust for AL Cy Young, but I think Chris Sale's not that. I think Chris Sale's going to have a step back year.
You're worried about
think
his lowering
every-
velocity.
I do.
That's a big thing you're pointing out.
I do. And
Everybody always loves Chris Sale right up until it's mid-season. They're like, never mind.
Well, I mean, if you watch Chris Sale's like first half of the season last year, it was some literal holy shit stuff.
yeah, I mean,
In their defense, I will give them credit for that.
in the playoffs, he just he suffers from
Sale
the
was-
same kind of.
Pretty good in the playoffs last year, though.
In the World Series, he wasn't, though. In the World Series, he got rocked because of the lowering velocity, but that comes from overuse.
I
but
think
then
part
he
of that is
comes,
also the guy pitched like 1 million innings last
that's
year.
exactly, but then it comes into spring training and he has the same velocity issue, and I'm like, it's a no from me.
That's
Chief.
understandable. Listen, I don't think Chris Sale's going to win Cy Young. In my defense,
I think A.L. Roy is going to Eloy
you're going to
Jimenez
yeah.
because he's the highest. I mean, until Vlad gets up, he's the highly touted guy for the American League. And then NL, I think it's going to be Tatis Jr.
Yeah. Tatis already getting called up too.
Yeah, dude, he made the opening day roster.
Yeah, I'm proud of him.
Yeah, definitely.
Tatis Jr. making it.
Titties for the win on that one.
Yeah, I hate that the Blue Jays are being cheap with Vladito. The guy should be starting already.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, so I was looking into it some more, and the reason that they do that is because you can't be a free agent unless you give 6 years of playing to a team. So by him playing, well, it's like they have to be on the major league level for a certain number of days to be considered like a year of playing.
Yeah. So what they do is they hold him.
So they hold him until May.
It's like mid-May so they don't. There's no chance of them
And
reaching
then-
the games limit, and then they push
Yeah.
back the year before
But
they reach
it's
arbitration.
not a games limit; it's a days limit.
It's a days limit. Wow.
So it's I believe the cutoff is somewhere around the lines of like 170 days
Okay.
as a professional. So they wait until mid-May, they call him up, then they have that season of eligibility along with 6 others.
Yeah, and then he reaches arbitration.
And then he reaches arbitration or free agency, and that's when the Toronto Blue Jays are going to have to be like, okay, well, what do we do? Like, do we pay him or
The answer is yes. You play Vladito Jr. in all likelihood.
or you let him walk because you're the Toronto Blue Jays, and how good are you going to get really?
I mean, ideally, pretty good if you have Vladito, right?
However, you still got to build your team.
I mean, yeah, but you have 6 years to do it.
Easier said than done for the Blue Jays specifically.
Listen, the only issue is they're being cheap with Vladito if they hold him out until.
Oh, I totally
after that.
agree.
Like, it's
Totally
actually just really arbitrary, and the MLB is investigating them for it, and they might get they might have some sanctions placed on them, some NCAA style sanctions if they decide they're going to hold him out.
So they're still doing. They're still. Chris Bryant filed a grievance against that policy
Yeah,
4 years ago.
yeah,
And the investigation's still going on.
yeah.
So
That doesn't surprise me.
it is a abundance of incompetencies on both sides, and
I don't know. It seems very competent and willing from the team perspective.
No. I'm sorry. It is incompetence on the behalf of the investigator.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like the NCAA investigations. Like, you can investigate Sean Miller all you want, you're not going to get anything out of him because that's not how these go. Like, this is the NCAA, corrupt as corrupt can be.
Yeah.
That's why I think I had this thought the other day, and it was like, what if there was a basketball tournament where if your college team wins, there's a grand prize of like $100,000
Okay.
for them.
All right.
Would the players elect to play in that tournament, or would they still want to play in the 64?
That's a really good question.
The money.
It depends.
See, that's what I would think is the money.
Because they already talk about like how players should be paid. So I'm almost positive at least 85% of the players would choose to play for the money. At least.
It depends. I don't
See,
think
that's what I'm saying.
I
It's
think-
a tough.
I think
It's a tough question,
some
right?
Duke-looking ass team wouldn't do it. Is my guess.
You mean a team that's already paying their players?
I mean, well, yeah, but like some top. I don't think any top 10 teams are doing it.
But most of those kids are one and done anyways.
You say that.
So for a blue blood program, like I'm talking like guys with seniors and
Yeah,
juniors, you
like
think
some
that those
Tennessee
guys
or-
would elect to play or not to play?
I don't think they would play. That's the thing, because I feel like they have a really good chance of winning March Madness, and that's what everyone goes to college for the most part, right?
Like
It's-
a Mark Few team would
Yeah,
want to play.
are you kidding me? You think Mark Few cares about $100,000 or cares about exercising almost 2 decades worth of
Wouldn't
March
you-
Madness
wouldn't you
demons
think
and finally
that-
hoisting that title?
Wouldn't you think that Roy Achimura wants to get some of that 100K?
I feel like Rui's
Or
a
Rui or
junior.
Roy?
Rui's a junior.
But still, I'm just asking you, like
I feel
after
like
playing,
honestly, after 2 years under Mark Few, he probably wants. I hate.
he's an NBA prospect.
I hate
so-
projecting onto players like that. That's why I just feel like he's getting money regardless because he's a lottery pick. So
Yeah.
I hate projecting like what players play for onto people. But I feel like if he goes to Gonzaga, he stays multiple years and he's probably not super in it for the money. He probably just wants to win.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. That's fair. I definitely believe in certain cases, like for example, Mikal Bridges and Jalen Brunson and a bunch of those guys from the Villanova team.
all
They
cared about
wanted
was
to
winning.
win.
Yeah,
yeah.
Amari Spellman too.
More
Or-
so than I feel like DeAndre Ayton wanted to win at Arizona, or maybe how Bol doesn't really care about Oregon right now. Like,
I mean,
I'm sure he's supporting his guys, but at the same time, like you're a top 5 pick when healthy. Well, at least coming into the season, that was your projection.
Okay.
It goes back to like everybody's got their own motivations. Like some people would want to play for the money, some people wouldn't. It's kind of like how they had the argument about Zion Williams, whether he should play or not, because if he goes to pros, he's going to get money.
Yeah.
You play now, you're not playing for money, you're just playing for your team. So
Right.
I guess it just goes back to that argument.
Well, like, and I told him when he got hurt initially, I said, Ricky, like, I think that Zion's going to play again. I think that he looks at the tournament as something, as an achievement.
Yeah, no, Zion is
Because he's highly competitive.
Zion is unbelievably competitive. You don't try that hard on defense if you don't care about winning.
Oh yeah.
That man, I've never seen someone so capable of coasting on defense, but still so willing to put his body on the line.
Definitely.
He literally does not care about anything other than winning.
Like I told you, and it's exactly how it played out. I said he's going to sit out until the ACC tournament, and he's going to play.
Yeah.
And so far it's worked out for him. And I still think that he's probably going to sign with like Under Armour when he gets out.
I hope he signs with shoes that don't break when he uses them. So that'd be pretty good for him.
Yeah.
If he manages to pull that off. Although my question is,
Anybody but Adidas.
does Nike really make shoes that cheap though? That's the real question. Is what kind of
Anybody but Adidas, man.
man?
Maybe he'll join. Maybe he'll join the Puma wave.
Maybe. I don't. That's
Bagley and Ayton
It's a
have.
small wave though.
Bagley and Ayton are there, bro.
I think he needs something custom.
Or what he could do, or he
His
could
feet
he
just
could
bust out.
he could contact what is it, the Xiling shoe company, the Dwayne Wade shoe company.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about?
Do they have
Well, they're technically his shoe brand, particular shoe, like that's the shoe company's name, I believe. It's a Chinese company, but his are Way of Wade. They're WoW shoes.
Do they have Klay Thompson too?
Yes.
Okay.
Is
Yeah.
that the Anta?
See, I don't know the company name off the top of my head. I thought it was the Xilings, but I could be wrong.
I think I know Clay has some really very weird shoe contract with like a Chinese company or something.
Yeah, well, we know how big he is over there.
Yeah, he's
too,
huge in China.
which
Clay's
is
great. I love
kind of
Clay.
crazy. Like,
I don't think so.
no, I think it's funny.
I mean, it is a
because
little-
he's like the quietest guy.
Yeah, it is a little funny. Maybe
Yeah, Clay's with Anta.
Anta.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but that's not the same company that Dwayne Wade's involved
Okay.
in
All right.
China. They're both Chinese companies, but that's not the same one as him. I think that's so. It's still like going back to it. That's hilarious that Klay Thompson is just
as big as he is in China. Yeah.
like
I
you
don't
know who
know.
else is big in China though?
Derrick Rose.
Jimmer,
D Wade's with a.
I mean, in Jimmer's defense, he did play in China.
dude. Jimmer was the shit in China.
Jimmer cooked in China.
Jimmer was cooking the other night.
That's the thing.
in Utah, my guy.
I saw him cooking his way to 0-10 or something for when
Whatever.
Devin Booker was busy putting up 59.
My guy, dude. If they can get it right, man.
And people were laughing at Booker like it's his fault the Suns are bad. That's the worst part. I can't believe I have to read with my own miserable, shitty eyes people trying to use like Devin Booker as not a symptom, but like a cause for the dysfunction in Phoenix. Like that man isn't literally like, have you seen the list of NBA players that have ever scored 70 in a game? It is 7 people. 6 of them are Hall of Famers. One of them isn't in yet because his name is Kobe Bryant. And then the last dude on the list is Devin Booker.
I don't know how you can put the man who's literally putting the team on his back in the conversation of he's the problem.
Like people are literally they're calling him a good stats bad team guy, like Kevin Love in Minnesota or something. Like it's actually just mad. The guy is literally like 22. He has 109 points over his last 2 games.
Even when Kevin Love left, Minnesota was still bad.
Yeah.
So it's a bad argument.
I know it's a terrible argument. It's just really bizarre to me that people can look at Devin Booker in Phoenix and be like, oh, it doesn't mean anything.
Like
He's not a good player.
do you trade Devin Booker and get better? No.
No.
You have nobody if you do that.
You want to talk about the Yankees, Jake?
I just picked up a closer on our fantasy.
Who was it?
Rogers from.
I have no idea
Excuse
who it
me.
is.
He's the Minnesota closer. He got the save today.
Nice.
The Twins won 2-1, 2-0 today. So
Look at that.
whatever. But the Yankees, on the other hand, they won 7-2. Big win. Big boy
They played the
Luke
Orioles,
Voit.
right?
Yeah. It means nothing.
No.
Those are pretty free games.
Yeah, the Orioles are going to get about 50 wins this year, maybe 40.
I thought that the lineup was interesting for the Yankees today. I thought that that Brett Gardner leading off playing center field today. I thought that was pretty interesting. Then they had Judge second playing right.
Isn't Hicks injured?
Hicks is injured.
That's why.
Yeah, well, yeah. They had Luke Voit hitting cleanup in 4-hole playing, and he was DHing today.
Understandable because Stan's out, right?
Stanton was playing left field.
Oh.
Yeah. So when I messaged you, I was like, I don't see him in the batting order because I just gotten on
Third,
and
didn't
yeah, he hit third,
And Judge was 5th?
and no, Judge was second.
Judge was 2nd.
Giancarlo hit third.
Voit was 4th.
Voit was 4th, and then Sanchez hit 6th. I thought Sanchez was gonna hit like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Then Sanchez hits 6th.
It's a hell of a lineup though.
Dude, it's a
it's a nutty
juggernaut.
lineup, yeah.
It's a juggernaut.
I know Jake and I talked about the Yankees a little bit. I don't
Dude.
think they should be World Series favorites, but I feel like they're
No.
definitely World
I
Series
think a lot of
contenders.
people are discrediting Houston, like a lot.
Yeah.
Like we were,
I mean, they lost Keuchel, and I guess it's what people are freaking out about. And they lost Marwin,
well, they
too.
lost-
But at the
they
same
lost-
time, it's
they
like...
lost Charlie Morton too.
Yeah, and Charlie Morton.
And I get that, but however, like you still have Garrett Cole, Justin Verlander, and then you also have a stellar bullpen with Roberto Ozuna, Ken Giles, And then on top of that, you add Michael Brantley to your team.
Have they looked at their lineup?
Like
Do you remember who's in Houston's lineup?
That's what I'm saying. Like Alex Bregman said at the beginning of the year, he wants to win MVP. Like that's ballsy as hell.
Yeah. Do you remember how many home runs Aaron Judge hit his rookie year?
Oh my God, dude, he hit like what 38?
It was a lot. Do you know remember how he didn't win MVP? It was
Oh my
some
gosh,
5'6" looking ass second baseman out of Houston.
That young guy,
He's a literal unit of measurement.
that young boy, Jose Altuve for the win.
He's been there a minute too. Yeah, no, the Astros are great. That's a phenomenal baseball team, and for me, they're probably, if I had to pick a team out of the AL to win, just because I like regression, I'm going to pick Houston.
Jose Barrios dropping 40 points today, son. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about, my
Starting
guy.
Too many pitchers today, huh?
Oh, I don't care about innings. It's the first game. It's the first day of the year.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
David Robertson gave up a run today.
Oh,
You freaking bum.
time to drop him.
I'll trade him to you.
Yeah, sure. I'll give you. What do I got left? I cut Mancini. I'm sorry, I can't give you him.
What? Oh yeah, that's right. You cut your boy Trey Mancini.
I don't know if he's my boy.
I need to start. I need to start starting Steven Piscotty because the homie just continues to get points. Like I can't understand it, man.
Can you look at my team real quick? How am I doing? I can't check. My phone's on 1% in another room.
Well, you're still in first place.
I mean, sick.
You have 30 points on the day.
I can tell you what. Really?
Yeah.
There's no way I have 30 points.
Your boy there, Brad Keller has.
Oh,
He has 9 points.
There you go.
And Iglesias is in the 8th right now.
Oh, he's actually in. Sick.
Yeah,
I'm getting
yeah.
pitching points today. I'm excited.
So he has 2 points right now because he has a strikeout,
Oh,
but he
that's
gave up an
right.
earned run, but he's 3 outs. But he's still going to record the save, I think,
The
because
Royals
it's 5
game-
to 2 because it's 5-3.
the Royals game started on a delay. That's why.
Gotcha.
Forgot about that. How's Moncada doing? I think he had one last I saw.
Akuna Moncada. So he's 0 for 1. 0 for 1, so he has no points right now. It's the bottom of the third.
But yeah, whatever.
But he's hitting second today for Chicago.
Yeah.
So your boy Matty Chapman had a walk and a single.
Yeah, you got me 1 point today.
2.
Two, my man. He's still my points leader on the year.
Little Charlie Blackman's 0 for 4, and I'm sure Austin's sad about that.
How's Daniel Murphy doing?
Dana Murphy's 0 for 4 as well.
Not surprised.
Well, what's interesting is that they're
Me
both
doubling
hitting.
down.
They're both hitting 1 and 2 for Colorado
for
today.
Colorado. Yeah, me doubling down on Rockies and coming through.
Your
today.
Win.
your highest scoring batter is Marwin Gonzalez.
Oh, really? It was Marwin?
Yep, he had a double with 2 RBIs and a walk today. 6
Sick.
points.
Put up 6, my man.
Yeah, so you're killing it right now.
I guess.
This is good. This is good. But after today, you will probably fall in the standings.
Yeah, no, I have a slight boost in my points because of a certain third baseman plays for the Oakland Athletics, had an all right game over in Tokyo.
Just look at my fucking. Oh my. Ronald Acuna 8 points on the day.
Oh my god.
Look at my total for today. 110.
He's got
points.
110 points on the day because David Dahl putting up 7, Acuna putting up 8, Aaron Judge with 6.
Feels like he should have more.
Barrios with 40, Marcus Stroman with 29,
Dude, I knew it, bro. I told you buy low on Stroman. He was my
Kirby
last
Yates-
pick in the draft.
Kirby Yates with 11. In my defense, I'm getting one starting pitcher today.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
That is my defense.
yeah. I mean, that's a worthy offense, or sorry, defense.
Catch up. It'll be all right.
Yeah, that's like, I'm not worried. It's a long season.
It is a very long season. Oof. Man, I should have started Carlos Rondon. He's got 12 points on my bench.
Yeah, you probably should have.
Started against the Royals today. Oh well. I'm just stoked I got another closer. Taylor Rogers.
You had a pitcher slot.
Taylor
Who's
Rogers.
your flex pitcher?
So my flex pitcher today is Andrew Miller, who didn't play for St. Louis today. Well, it's because the reason he didn't play was because they lost 5-4 to Milwaukee. So he's only going to play in winning situations, I think, or super close games.
Okay. 5-4 seems pretty close.
He's their setup man. So
That's fair.
unless it's a save spot, he's not going in the game. That's the thing about relief pitchers. However, I mean Taylor Rogers.
I would always start if I had a starter that was projected to play, I'd always start him in the utility slot over a reliever. I'm sorry.
No, I agree. 100%. And that's normally how I feel. But while I got him, I got to play him.
That's fair.
Verlander's a stud.
Yes, Justin Verlander is very good.
But is he worth $33 million a year?
He gave
2
up
years,
3
$66
hits,
million.
1 earned run, a walk,
Someone want to tell me how old Justin
9
Verlander is?
strikeouts, and a W.
Like 35, 36?
That's a good question that I don't know the answer
I
to.
think he's about that.
You want Andrew Miller? I'll trade him to you.
Yeah, for what? Who do you want for Andrew Miller?
Justin Verlander is
Joey Votto.
36.
You're funny.
I'm just kidding.
You're a funny guy, Jake.
Maybe Wendell.
I'll get back to you on that one. I'll think about it.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know.
I kind of like Wendell just because I need another like actual utility player.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm just gonna put it in the chat. Say, anybody want Andrew Miller?
There you go. That's fine.
Anybody want Mike Trout?
Yeah, sure. I'm shopping Mike Trout. I'm actually shopping literally everybody on my entire team actively right now.
He'll take JD Martinez, Nola, and
Well, I need starting pitching.
I need to go talk
That's
to
my
I need to
biggest
go
thing.
talk to Chris. Hey, you want Mike Trout?
He'll be like, Chris will be like, here, I'll give you a bag of chips. And
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
give
No,
you-"
Chris for real. He's gonna give me his 25th pick in the draft and a middle finger and tell me that's what he'd give me for Trout.
Yeah.
I'd be like, you know what? No.
And he'll try to justify it as a
Yeah,
fair
yeah,
trade.
yeah.
That's the best part. He's the worst. He's the worst. And then he'll ask you why you haven't paid your dues. Like
Yeah, I know.
he's such a stickler, dude. It's crazy.
I still gotta. I'm sorry, Brad, if you're listening to this pod for whatever reason.
I am probably gonna send it to him.
I will get you this money as soon as I can. I gotta set up my Venmo. I'm just being a bum. Please forgive me. I'm usually not
Ricky's
this bad,
very
I
much a
promise.
bum.
I
Ricky's
mean, yeah, but at least I'm an honest bum.
easy enough.
And besides,
wanna
Jake can
move
tell you
on
I'm good
to-
for it.
Oh yeah.
Do we want to move on to basketball?
I do want to talk about
March Madness.
I do want to talk about March Madness. I want to specifically talk about what I think is going to be the best game of the day, which is Florida State Gonzaga.
Okay,
yeah.
that's yeah.
And that game's a very hard game to.
It didn't seem that hard for me to pick. I slammed Gonzaga down, but that was before Florida State continued to be really hot.
Yeah, it's just like,
I'm gonna
dude,
take Florida State.
I'm taking Gonzaga for one reason.
what's that?
They have a very good coach.
Mark Few's been there. That's the thing. It's the experience, you know.
I love Florida State.
I like Florida State a lot too, man. I
I honestly kind of think Florida State might run cold on offense this game because that's their biggest issue is they have to
well,
deal
haven't they
with.
been like hitting 3 after 3 after 3? Yeah.
Well, my thing is, Murray State looked really good against Marquette, and I thought
I wasn't that high on Marquette, but
Marquette looked really good during the season. I picked Murray State in the tournament,
yeah.
but I was surprised that Florida State came out and whooped their asses. Like, it wasn't even close.
I mean, in Murray State's defense, it is literally John Morant and then like cardboard cutouts of college basketball players.
But
Hey, man.
I've seen Florida. I'm a big
Hey, now.
ACC guy, and I've seen Florida State play all season. I think they're a good sleeper. to get to the Final Four.
They're a fantastic team, but I'm gonna take the biggest thing about Gonzaga for me is their actual like physical size, like their weight. Like Rui and Brandon Clark are big dudes,
Yeah.
and they're experienced guys, and they're lottery guys,
Yeah.
and they have the edge in the coaching matchup, and there are maybe not necessarily a more talented team, but I think they're a better team, and I think that it's gonna show. That's my guess.
I think it will be a good one.
I think Florida State's due for a little bit of regression. I think they may be punching above their weight class a tiny bit.
I think Virginia is either going to show up or leave.
I think Virginia is going to continue to do what Virginia's done the entire tournament. And I think Oregon is going to feel really, really, really bad about it.
Oh man.
I think they're going to make Oregon feel pretty bad. They made Oklahoma feel pretty bad.
Oklahoma should have felt bad.
Oklahoma that
Yeah.
scored 95 on Ole Miss.
Dude.
I don't know why Old Miss got in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah, I think,
The SEC was actually pretty all right this year, surprisingly.
dude, SEC, like I said, I'm super high on SEC basketball.
SEC basketball is turning into something, and I'm kind of here for it.
I just
Well,
didn't
you
like
love
Old
Bruce
Miss.
Pearl, so.
I don't know if I love Bruce Pearl. I love calling Bruce Pearl a what do I call him?
I
Do
would
call
have
him a
taken
cheater? 'Cause I'm
Alabama.
pretty sure he's cheating.
I would have taken Alabama before I took Old Miss out of the SEC.
That's funny, actually.
Actually, rip my boy
Yeah, Avery
Coach
Johnson.
Oates. Coach Oates is now left Buffalo, and he's taking Avery Johnson's job.
Avery got fired?
Well, he stepped down. They agreed to a buyout.
Okay.
But I'm curious where he's going to go from here. I don't want him to
Avery?
stop coaching.
Back to ESPN is my guess.
Yeah, I was thinking he'd probably go back to TV.
Yeah, I mean, he'll maybe go back to TV in a year, survey the positions.
He'll
and
take
see
the
what's
Laker
available.
job. Do we want Avery Johnson back in the NBA?
No.
Why? I love Avery Johnson,
Not a
dude.
quality coach.
There's worse.
So funny.
candidates.
Yeah.
Not a.
Ty
I
Lue.
still wouldn't hire him, but
That's
there's worse candidates.
I think the list is literally like Ty Lue and Mark Jackson.
Oh,
Dave
man.
Blatt. Dave Blatt,
Yeah,
LeBron reunion in
Oh,
LA.
man.
Whoever Coach LeBron can get behind him. You know?
See, that's what that's why I'm afraid. I know I read a report saying that there are rumors of Jason Kidd being interested in the Laker job.
That's a terrible hire.
And
he
D
got bullied
Fish
when he coached the Bucks.
and D Fish.
Fisher seems a lot more logical for the Lakers, but still terrible. Can we stop hiring like bad former players
Oh, I totally agree. I don't.
or
I
bad coaches as former players that are bad coaches? Sorry.
Yeah, I
Jason
totally,
Kidd's not a bad
I
player.
totally agree. But I think that was interesting. I also said when Luke Walton was starting to get doubts that it was going to be Ty Lue or the highway. So, which I don't like. I totally don't like it. But
I know. It's just I can't believe this is where we're at.
you know how I feel about Ty Lue, dude. I hate him.
Yeah, he's
I don't hate him. I just think that he's
not a quality coach.
right. He's made his career on kissing ass.
You know what's hilarious to me is people are trying to draw parallels between Ty Lue and Spoelstra.
When have that happened? I haven't seen that.
Pretty sure.
Oh,
Pretty sure,
I'll defend my boy Spo any day of the week.
Yeah, I was kind of out on Spo at first, but I realized after a while that he's actually a good NBA coach. And considering that the Heat are semi-relevant this year, despite the fact they are by no means an even mildly good basketball team, is incredible. They have like 2 future pieces and like a bunch of caps,
Oh,
and then a bunch
actually,
of like cap weight, and that's it.
Did you see?
Actually, 3.
Did you see that Orlando jumped them for 8? How terrible is that, dude?
I want to apologize, but at the same time,
It's salt in the wound.
I'm really here for the Magic.
Why?
It's Orlando. They've
Is
been.
Markel playing?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think he's doing his shoulder.
You're here for the Magic?
Yeah. you know Jonathan Isaac's still on the Magic?
Yeah, I remember him, that Florida State guy.
Yeah.
Who's like 6'9" and
No,
plays
he's literally like 6'11" and plays
power
5
forward,
positions.
right?
As long as they got Mo Bamba, people are going to be here
Well,
for the Magic.
he's
He's injured,
hurt right
yeah.
now, but I totally agree. I think next season when he comes back and is healthy, he'll be
If
dominant.
Fultz is healthy. We'll
And if
see if that will be
Aaron
a combo.
Gordon can transition into something that's not a traditional small forward, I
Aaron
think
Gordon
would be
shooting
great.
threes too.
I don't like
He
it.
was shooting threes last year. He was doing really good at the start.
I need him to dunk the ball. That's what I need him to do.
He needs to be in a position to dunk the ball is the issue. Vucevic, by the way, has been the really big thing for the Magic. That's not getting talked about nearly enough.
Nicola.
Should we get
Vucevic
back
has
to
been
March
unreal.
Madness?
You want to go back to March Madness?
Sorry.
I don't know. Do you want to
Sorry.
talk about, I consider you want me to gush about DeAndre Hunter and UVA, and their second best player is Ty Jerome.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
kinda not close.
It's not Kyle Guy. That's
It's,
for
yeah,
not Guy.
Kyle Guy has been really cold.
Dude,
but
he has been so disappointing
I know,
this tournament. Like, I don't understand what his issue is, man.
he's just
It's mental, right?
you think so, the shooter, and he's getting like the looks that he usually gets.
I think Oregon Virginia is going to be a good game.
I think it is
I
too.
don't think so.
Oregon
No?
is hot.
I think Oregon's like I agree with him. I
Hey,
think
are brackets still in here, or did Grayson lift them away?
Grayson took them away. I have UVA winning
Yeah.
in every bracket, but I think Oregon's going to give them a huge challenge.
I don't necessarily think so.
Dude, it's Tony Bennett. And like
What's your deal with Tony Bennett?
the fact that he hasn't gone to the Elite 8, he's only gone to the Elite 8 once at his tenure in
Cool.
Do
Virginia.
you remember the Shabazz Napier UConn?
Yeah.
You think
It-
this is parallels to
I'm
them?
not saying this is a parallel, but it's just whoever gets hot at the right time, and Oregon could be that team.
There's a certain all those like really weird teams like the South Carolina Sindarius Thornwell team, the Kemba Walker UConn team. They all have very similar like profiles where it's like you have a point guard that can just get hot
Shoot
and
the
carry an
ball.
offense by himself and a very good defense.
Yeah.
And they all follow that format. Like the Kemba team was the most apex version of that.
Yeah, I would argue that Shabazz wasn't as bad as that one because he had some decent college
I mean,
guys
that's the thing
around
is even on
him.
the Kemba one, people forget Jeremy Lamb was on that team.
Yeah, and wasn't he on Shabazz's as well? Yeah, him and Shabazz was on the Kemba Walker team
Yeah.
too. So
Shabazz was a freshman though.
yeah, and so was Jeremy Lamb was too, right? It
He might have been a sophomore.
doesn't matter. Regardless,
He's still young.
Yeah,
I'm taking
regardless.
UVA, just saying.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I figure we're all
Pitching a
taking
case for
UVA,
Oregon.
but I'm
I
not
think
gonna.
I think the
entertain that
worst
idea,
game
really.
that's going to be on tonight is Purdue Tennessee. I think Tennessee should win that game,
I think it's gonna be an ugly game. I think that's the reason it might be the worst.
and I think that
I feel bad for Carson Edwards a little bit.
Texas Tech Michigan's a tough game to pick.
I picked Texas Tech.
Really?
Yeah,
I think Beeline's going to.
this Beeline team feels really flimsy to me.
I think Beeline's going to slow the tempo and really hurt Texas Tech
I
that
love
way.
this
That's
game in so many
Cool,
ways.
because Texas Tech has the number 1 defense in March Madness so far.
Why is that? Because of just the differences of team. I mean,
Yeah.
they're so different.
if you look at the way Texas Tech plays compared, I like them in a matchup against Duke if they get to the Final Four.
Yeah,
Oh God, I couldn't imagine. They'd play. They would. All they have to do is make them shoot threes. That's what I've been telling everybody. All you have to
yeah.
do is make Duke shoot threes.
you know what Krzyzewski's not gonna do? Make Zion the ball handler.
Well, that's why. Luckily, they have Trey, but
If you make Zion the ball handler, surround Zion with shooters, then you're gonna be okay.
or RJ.
Ugh. You know what
Probably
RJ's
take
gonna do? RJ's gonna
Shoot.
jab step his way into long twos.
He's not much.
Someone gotta fix him in
I don't
the
know
NBA.
what it is. Can we? I know that we probably don't want to talk about it, but can you talk about how they should have lost? Like I'm a Duke basketball fan, and I still stand by the fact that Duke should have lost to UCF.
Yeah, probably.
There's questionable things about that.
Well, okay, so there was some interesting non-call. There were some interesting no calls, and Zion Williamson can't shoot free throws,
Yeah.
which I knew going into this game.
he's a career he's shot 65% from the line so far this season or something like that.
Yeah, it's,
As a
it's not very
UNC guy,
pretty.
I hate Duke, but there is some questionable things that weren't called. Like Taco Fall had his arms completely over Zion in one of the early fouls that wasn't called.
Yeah,
And he literally couldn't go up against Taco because he just kept dropping his arms on him every single time.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a lot of calls for that. And then
Yeah.
people are still going, well, UCF should have won. I was like, there was non-calls both ways. We can't really say that.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is people get lost in like the first half of close games.
Mm-hmm.
Or if it's close in the second half, they're like, oh, all the stuff in the second half, change it. When the stuff
Yeah.
in the first half is equally as important.
Yeah, I
it's just
agree.
you just lose it in the memory.
that's the problem. Is that because of the action, especially in basketball, like there's so much action that happens that
Such a fast sport.
Exactly, it's very hard to be like, oh, well, the deciding factor of this game
Yeah.
took place in the third
You know,
minute of the first quarter,
It's not like in football where you have
where everything matters in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, you know,
Like
I mean, it's not even that. Each team only has like 8 possessions in a football game.
Yeah. Well,
Depends. It's like okay, so we can get like
I would argue
like
10,
11?
10 or 12.
11, yeah. But still, I mean, compared to basketball, where we have per 100 possession stats as norms in the NBA.
Yeah. I think I'm a perfectionist. My philosophy as a basketball coach and a basketball player, mine was it's impossible to be a perfectionist in an imperfect game.
Yeah,
However, if you can score on 90% of your possessions or do something positive 90% of your possessions, then it's a win. Like you win.
I mean, yeah, obviously, but
that's-
scoring on 90% of possessions in basketball.
But that's what I'm saying. It's a very unrealistic goal.
Yeah.
However, as a coach or as a player, that's what you should strive to do. Every possession counts, whether it's the first possession of the
yeah,
game
absolutely.
and specifically the last possession of the game. So if you can get a positive result out of each and every possession and run your offense flawlessly or seamlessly, or even if you do mess things up, if you can still convert and do something without getting a turnover, that's a good possession. That even if you miss the shot, if you still run your offense correctly, that's fine.
yeah, that's fine because sometimes you're just going to miss easy looks. and good
Exactly.
looks. It
Exactly. You
happens.
saw Zion Williamson missed that UCF kid missed the alley oop
Yeah.
in the game, like a wide open alley oop, and then RJ gets the rebound and Duke scores the next possession. Like that. That's exactly what
Should
happened.
have just been a pass and a layup.
I
That's all it needed to
totally
be.
agree.
Oh.
It didn't have to be an alley oop. You should have just passed it forward.
You know, what my favorite team left in the tournament is actually
Is it LSU?
no, it's Buffalo.
Buffalo got knocked out, bro.
Shit, really?
Yeah, they lost to Texas Tech.
Oh man,
I
What
know.
happened to me? I'm sorry. I watched their first round game and
Dude, against AZ State, that was a good game.
And you know what the important part about watching that Buffalo game was? Is they ran the nicest offense I've seen of any college team in my entire life.
That's why I was very high on them. I had them going to the Elite
They're
Eight.
very clean. I like
And-
them better than I did Nevada. People were so high on Nevada all season. I just didn't understand it.
Wasn't it you that said Trey Porter? And I was like, I'm not picking Nevada
Yeah,
to
I
win
didn't
this
pick Nevada
game.
either. Actually, no, I did pick Nevada.
Yeah, I
did.
picked. I
That was
think I went
unlucky.
to. I picked Florida that game.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That was correct, probably. Yeah, obviously, it was correct. They won.
Yeah.
But no, the biggest thing about Buffalo is if you watch them, it's like they absolutely know what they're doing every single play. Like they run their motion, they pass a lot, and each person knows that they have to make a snappy decision with the ball, and they always make the correct decision. Basically, like watching, they ran like 8 straight offensive plays where everyone made quick, correct decisions with the ball, and they got fantastic looks at the basket. And then watching Arizona State play offense immediately after that was like the most jarringly painful thing I've ever seen because it was a bunch of pass the ball,
Which is
stand
so
around, dribble,
interesting.
try to like
Yeah.
jab step, create openings. Like there wasn't any fluidity or motion in the Arizona State offense.
You know what's very interesting about that is that Bobby Hurley was the head coach of the Buffalo Bulls before he went to Arizona State.
Really?
Some of those kids are his kids.
Yeah.
And to see the difference in how he coaches that team and how Coach Oates coached that team, I'd rather not to be, and again, Duke fan, I'd prefer to have Coach Oates' offense. I don't like ISO basketball.
No, it's
That's why I'm not
terrible.
a big D'Antoni guy. Although James Harden's probably it's definitely top 3 most fun players to watch.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing about that is that when Harden ISOs, it isn't necessarily always ending in a shot for him.
He's also very gifted offensively.
Who,
So
James Harden?
well, obviously,
Well, yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so
just a
like,
tiny bit.
But if you're talking about these college kids from Arizona State, like they're not,
No.
not even James Harden when he was at Arizona State was that talented. So it's very hard to trust an ISO offense, especially in tournament play.
So that's the biggest thing.
Can we go back to like the Purdue Tennessee?
Yeah,
thing? 'Cause
sure.
Y'all just kind of like
I shit
know,
on
I
it.
know,
No,
I
I totally
literally-
shit on it because I think
I
Tennessee
was
should
so
win that
surprised
game.
that y'all were like,
I felt bad for Carson Edwards. Listen, I think Tennessee's going to win. I think Purdue's actually good because they still have Harms, and Harms is
think-
like an actual NBA player.
I think I chose Purdue.
Okay.
Did you really?
Yeah.
What's your thought process there? Again, I'm really high on the
Do you
SEC.
not trust? Do you
I
just not trust
watched
Rick
them
Barnes?
play against ODU, and I watched them play against Villanova, and they stomped Villanova. And I thought Villanova was going to give them a good game, if not win, but they completely came out and stomped Villanova.
Old Dominion's game is a bad sample size because BJ Stith could not hit a
We
shot.
couldn't hit
No,
anything.
yeah, like
It was
I will.
jitters all night.
Purdue did play really good defense though.
And refereeing didn't really help out in that game. I'm not going to blame the game on refereeing.
No.
But as soon as we would get back into the game, there would be a weird call that,
that you just don't agree with.
yeah. But Purdue, after watching the ODU game, I wasn't high on them at all.
Yeah,
But then I saw them play Villanova,
and
and
just stomp them.
it's like, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, but I look at that Villanova team and I think that they are victims of their own success, being that they lost so much in the draft last year. Like they lost their team, they lost their blue bloods.
They lost Amari Spellman, Mikhail Bridges, Jalen Brunson, Dante DiVincenzo.
That's a lot for that team.
That is your 4 best players, literally.
Right. So with that being said, it's just that team.
also
And I'm
probably-
not discrediting that as
No,
sample
no,
size. I'm saying that this Villanova team was lucky to get where they were.
Yeah, I totally agree because that conference was very weak this year. But Villanova's always been a stud in the
Right,
tournament.
right.
I'm also not that high on Tennessee.
Really?
They've been inconsistent
Oh
all
no, yeah,
season
they
long.
totally are inconsistent.
Especially in that Iowa game. How do you go up that big and let a 10 seed like Iowa
crawl back.
crawl
I
back?
Totally understand. It's
It's the Rick Barnes factor.
it's
That's
something
my
along the
biggest issue.
lines. I think. Yeah, that's a fair issue to have. It's
My biggest concern with my pick I have Tennessee winning the national title. And
Really?
that terrifies me a little bit. But I mean,
naturally,
Like the
Yeah.
SEC.
isn't it? It's a tough bet to bet on the SEC. Like I like LSU a lot.
Like I think the reason
In
everybody
that game they played on Saturday morning was definitely not a good sample size.
oh
at
no, I
all
think
for
I
what
think LSU's gonna be
is.
Michigan State. Yeah, probably, but just because I don't like Michigan State.
Is
I'd
it
take
the
Michigan
Tom Izzo thing? Because you need to get over yourself. Tom Izzo's a great coach.
Tom Izzo is a great coach.
Tom Izzo's a good coach,
All
yeah.
of his players love him.
You should. Yeah, I was gonna
They
say
would
like
do
Miles
anything for that
Bridges
man.
was like any coach that does that is a good coach. Draymond Green. backed that up.
no. That has nothing to do with Tom Izzo yelling at his player. No, I
okay.
don't care about that.
Thank God.
No,
I was gonna say,
no,
Ricky,
no,
you're
no,
better
no.
than that, man.
No, come on, man. No, Tom Izzo's track record over the last 6 years is the reason I don't trust Michigan State. Not because he yells at his players.
that's fair. Okay.
Are you kidding me?
I
Get
actually
all the way out of here
I
with
picked
that. I don't care about that.
I picked them to win like 2 years ago.
God.
You know,
that,
that whole controversy is ridiculous to me, and I think a lot of people. I think what we're doing, especially on social media, is like we're taking like everybody has to tweet about it, right? Everybody
Yeah,
has to be
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
toughen up, and I think it's just a small group of people. Like a very, very, very small margin of people that are like, "Oh, I have an issue with this," and I think that we're overreacting to what this like maybe group of 5 or 10 people think.
Probably.
And you know, we're acting like it's a huge thing. And Scott Van Pelt said it perfectly. Like he's like, look, like this is their job.
Yeah.
And he only wants the best out of his guys.
Yeah,
I
obviously.
love
And if he's not
SDP.
doing the job, and the kid said it himself post game, he was like, I wasn't doing my job
Yeah.
correctly. So it's just like getting reprimanded at your own job.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like I don't want my coach to be hard on me because my coach wants the best for me, and if that's what he thinks he needs to do to get the best out of me, then that's what he should do.
And I'd argue that it worked because the kid ended up bouncing back.
Yeah.
So but like I said, I think it's unfair to completely just like for all of us that totally don't see an issue with this to be like, well, that's a problem. Like everybody needs to toughen up because it's not everybody needs to toughen up. It's just they need to realize that it's not like he's verbally abusing his players.
He's not.
So that sorry, I know that was kind of a rant there, but
No,
I
you're
think
fine.
I think a lot of the time we like to look at small margins of people and act like they're like this big mob, you know.
My issues with Michigan State stem from Tom Izzo's kind of subpar track record over the last like 2 or 3 years.
Oh no, my issue with Michigan State was the whole thing with the U.S. gymnastics team.
Oh, well,
however,
yeah, but I see that fortunately doesn't relate to this too much. So there is that. Yeah, no, I think LSU's going to win. I had Minnesota losing to Michigan State, which really backfired, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's one incorrect pick.
Hey, I picked K-State to beat UC Irvine, so what do I know?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know much.
Yeah.
I'm not big at all on Big 12 basketball this year. That's one of the reasons I just don't think that Texas Tech can do it.
Okay.
But that's why I had them losing to Buffalo. Again, what do I know?
I want to show y'all something.
But I think that the winner of the Florida State Gonzaga game should win the West. I think that they will win the West, regardless
I
of
can
if
see
it's
that.
Texas
This was
Tech.
my dad's bracket, and
Ooh, what do we got?
regardless, he did not submit this in the money pool. He submitted this in the family pool, and it made me very sad.
Oh boy.
I saw a lot of green and not a lot of red.
Ooh.
He had 2 wrong.
So he has
the
two.
first
He
round,
has
and
2
that's
wrong
it.
right now, but his final 4 is Florida State, UNC, UVA, and Duke.
He's an ACC guy.
I never would have guessed.
And his national championship
That's how it was
game
Duke.
is UVA Duke,
UVA Duke, yeah.
which, hey, that's very plausible. It's very plausible.
Do you want to know who
I
UVA
agree.
has lost to this year?
Duke?
It is literally Duke twice in the regular season and
That's
Florida
it.
State in the postseason.
That is
That is it. That is
those are
the
some
only
slim
that
odds.
is the only 3 games UVA has lost the entire year.
But I like
And-
them. I like UVA against UNC specifically. But I also think
UNC
Kentucky's
never
going
plays
to the
well against
championship.
UVA.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about either.
Because their best player is kind of a bum,
I'm not a big guy on UNC. I think
Luke May.
if UNC
I would
gets
argue Kobe White might be our best player right now.
I think he actually probably is.
yeah, that's
Or
yeah.
Johnson.
Point guards are really important too.
Johnson's so good.
I think that isn't Cole Anthony still considering UNC?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's hope
We're
to
stacked on
God that
talent
doesn't
right now.
happen. I don't want Cole Anthony to go to UNC.
Shut up, you Duke fan.
Go Cole Anthony, do yourself
I mean,
a favor. Go
you
to the
already-
SEC or something. Go to Kentucky.
Y'all had the top 3 prospects from last year. Like, give us something.
Well, the worst part is that, like, what's his name? Chris Carter on First Things First said that he thinks that Cam Reddish and Trey Jones should both stay an extra year.
I think Cam should.
And I think a part of me wants to agree with him because I'm a biased fan.
you know.
However, I don't think that they care. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I think that they're like, oh, you're going to pay me millions of dollars as opposed to playing for Duke. Yeah, I'll take that, especially because like they've already made the tournament. They won the ACC tournament.
Do y'all know where Cam's going to go in the draft? It's in the lottery.
I think. Oh, definitely. He's definitely going to go top 10.
He's a lottery pick.
He was.
If you're a lottery pick, you declare for the draft. It's not really that.
No, yeah, it's totally
I don't
not.
I don't
But
think you got to overthink it.
But I think that it's unfair for Chris Carter to be like, oh, well, he doesn't impress me. It's like, yeah, no shit, because every time you watch a Duke game, you're watching one
Zion,
guy.
bro.
You're watching Zion Williamson.
Two guys.
You're watching Zion Williamson and you're criticizing RJ Barrett.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what you're
yeah,
doing.
yeah.
That was it.
And that's like, I totally think that's unfair because he's the best 3-point shooter on the team.
Cam's role in Duke is not going to be his role in the NBA.
Oh, no, not
It's
at all.
Not even close.
No.
You guys know who this Kevin Knox kid in New York is?
He's stepping up too.
That's closer. A little closer to what Cam's role in the NBA
I
is going to
would
be.
love to see a Cam Reddish run Duke, though.
Yeah.
That would be so
I think
much
that's
fun.
very appealing.
That would have been nice.
There's still a chance.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. There's a chance.
I think Trey Jones should come back from personally.
Tyus Jones would disagree. I think Tyus Jones would try to fight you. Tyus Jones genuinely believes that his brother is the best defender in college basketball.
I have bad news.
I know. I totally do too.
I have bad news. There's a certain guy that plays at UVA. He's like 6'7". His arms are like condor wings. He didn't play in the NCAA tournament last year. His name's DeAndre Hunter. Guy's mildly adequate.
You know what I was thinking about the other day?
What?
And you're gonna totally love this.
What up? You know who I want DeAndre Hunter to go to?
What's that?
I want him to go to San Antonio, but he won't be going to San Antonio.
No, not
No,
at all,
no.
dude. They're actually starting to turn it up too.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me look it up real quick because I want to see where they are before I say this on air. So right now this is this is it's the in between conversation between NBA and college basketball, and
It's like our 18th different tangent in the last 20 minutes.
whatever. The Lakers have the 11th
Oh no!
in the
no!
West
No!
right now.
No!
DeAndre Hunter
I gotta go.
to the Lakers.
I gotta go.
My guy.
I really gotta go. I can't be here anymore. All right, I'm signing off. I'll see you guys next week.
No, come back. What are you doing? Just imagine it.
How are you gonna hurt me like this?
I hate the Lakers.
It's a plausible situation, isn't it?
No.
Yes, it is. They're going to replace KCP with DeAndre Hunter.
I have bad news for you. Dre's going in the top 6.
Okay, well, let's see. Because right now, the Lakers have the 11th overall pick. Or sorry, have the 11th in the West, and they are.
They're ahead of the Grizz.
They're way behind everybody.
Yeah.
Because the East sucks.
The East
Yeah,
sucks.
they have 33 wins on the year.
There's 4 or 5 teams in the East that are considerably worse than the Lakers.
They have 33 wins on the
Pretty
year.
sure the East has like the 4 lowest teams.
Aside from Phoenix, yeah.
Yeah, because the Knicks. Okay, so
It's like Knicks, Bulls,
Cavs.
I'm just in no particular order. Knicks,
okay.
Bulls, Cavs, and
Hawks.
the Hawks. Yeah,
Those are all the teams under 30 wins. The Wizards have
along
30.
with the Suns, right?
The Wizards have 31 wins, and the Suns and Mavericks both have under 30. So there are 6 teams that have under 30.
Yeah,
Mavericks or Dallas, Phoenix, Atlanta, Cleveland, Chicago, New York.
Los Angeles could potentially get.
They could trade up and get DeAndre Hunter. I don't think that they would
around
though.
10 or 11, depending.
Yeah,
I think he'd be a really good fit for them,
he would be a really good fit for the Lakers.
but
But
I don't want him to go there.
I don't want him to go there either because I don't want him to play with LeBron James.
The biggest thing for me about Dre and the
You can
reason
say it. You can say it on air. You don't want him to play with
I mean,
LeBron
no, I
James.
don't want to play with LeBron James. Are you shitting me? Absolutely not. The most interesting thing for me about Dre is that his floor is so high because of his build and his athleticism
And because he came from UVA.
and how good of a defender. That's the biggest thing is
He's Malcolm Brogdon, but a bigger Malcolm Brogdon.
no. The biggest thing, Malcolm doesn't have star potential like Dre does.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing is Malcolm
I love
Brogdon wasn't a
Malcolm.
lottery pick. Malcolm Brogdon is underratedly very good for Milwaukee, and they're going to miss him in the first
Oh
round.
my God, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, no, it is a big rip.
If
I
they're-
poured one out for
I know,
the
I know.
kid.
Man, if they were if they were like the 3 or the 2 seed, if they were the 3 or the 4 seed in the East, I think they might not make it out of the first round without Malcolm.
I always draft him in my keepers league. Malcolm Brogdon's one of my favorites.
Brogdon's
So
great.
right now they're playing the Magic in the first round.
Yeah, no, that's fine. They could be missing Eric Bledsoe and Chris Middleton for them. They'd probably still beat the Magic.
They could play their second stringers and be fine.
Literally, it's as long as you have Giannis and like free agent players, like you're okay for the Magic. But the important part for me about Dre is that Tony Bennett's system in UVA is really rigid offensively, and it really bums me
is.
out.
Well, that's why you wanted to see a what is it? A Jack Salt versus who's that kid? Who's the kid from Wisconsin? And
Oh,
you were
Ethan Happ? I did not want to see that.
Yes, you did.
No,
you
no.
wanted Happ versus Salt.
Well,
in the
no,
paint.
I wanted to see that because people would have hated it, but like, I mean, it would have been hilarious. But no, my biggest issue with Tony Bennett as a coach is that he's very rigid offensively and defensively. Like he doesn't like making adjustments, which is why the biggest issue that they were having against the first round matchup at Gardner Webb is if you watch the way Gardner Webb was running offense, they were basically UVA hedges on pick and rolls a lot. Mm-hmm. So as soon as the defender came up to hedge, the roll man, the big that set the screen would just immediately roll to the rim, and there wouldn't be anyone there to cover for him. So it was just free buckets, and they just ate them alive like that for the first 10 minutes until Tony put the call out to stop hedging. And that was when the game started slowing down and UVA started getting themselves back in it. But the biggest thing on offense is that DeAndre Hunter doesn't get to handle the ball at all.
Yeah, that's very true. It's all Kyle Guy. Well, Kyle Guy and Jerome.
It's Ty Jerome and Keith
Yeah.
Clark are the 2 primary ball handlers on that team. They run Kyle off screens a ton, which is good because that's what he's supposed to be doing.
if he hits the shot.
I mean, as long as he hits the shot, and he's getting good looks. Kyle Guy, I mean, his best case scenario is like JJ Redick at this point because he doesn't get to handle the ball.
It's a pretty wealthy comparison.
I mean, no, I mean, that is the best case scenario
Yeah,
for Kyle Guy. But I mean, that's a very limited offensive player.
yeah.
And that's the issue. And he doesn't have the size that JJ Redick does, which I think something that maybe gets a little bit lost about JJ.
So
But the biggest thing with Dre is that with Tony Bennett's offense system, he doesn't get to handle the ball at all. And considering the way the NBA is trending, it's like Dre will be fine if he doesn't get a ball handling role. But the biggest thing is if you can see how he does handling the ball in a bigger role on offense, you can see if he actually has star potential. Because there's a non-zero chance he could be not necessarily like the same caliber of player Kawhi Leonard is, but something approaching that style of player.
yeah, I think that's a that's a fair thing. I definitely don't think that that's out of pocket for sure. I think that that's an interesting player comp. I think that there's probably a better one. However, I think that his peak could totally turn into it because at the same time when Kawhi came out, he wasn't Kawhi Leonard at all.
No, he wasn't even approaching that.
He was SD State's best player, and that was pretty much
a very good defensive player with hands the size of a catcher's glove.
Yeah.
The guy's hands are huge. Like I think I have big hands, man.
Yeah, no, he's got some big hands for sure. I want to throw this out real quick. So the Knicks, the Cavs, and the Suns all have the same chance for the number 1 overall pick.
Yep.
Which
I hate
means
that.
that if the Suns want a point guard, they can get Ja Morant, which would be pretty cool.
That would be the dumbest thing in the history of Phoenix.
Why?
Why?
Well, you like point book, so shut up.
And it's not even that. If you have the number 1 pick, you take Zion, and then you
No. That's not what I was saying. That's not what I was saying at all. I was saying I was projecting. I was projecting as if like.
All right, if Phoenix gets the number 2 pick, they take Ja. Yeah,
Exactly.
no, absolutely. I think they take
Because
Ja.
I think Zion's going to the Knicks. I think that the Knicks are going to get number 1. I think
No
it's the
matter
I think
what.
it's the best for the NBA if the Knicks get the first overall
I
pick.
think they
You're
trade
breaking
up
out
if
your
they don't.
conspiracy theory hat, and you're pulling the frozen envelope out, and we're doing that. That's what we're doing.
my tin caps on.
Yeah, he can pull caps on. So
Just like I think UNC Duke is the NCAA dream scenario this
God, I hope
this
so.
off season. That's what I think. But I think that if the Knicks or the Cavs draft Zion Williamson first overall, the Suns pick Ja Morant. I think Ja
absolutely.
Morant
I think
fits
they
well
take
with
Ja.
them.
Yeah, no, I think it's great because ideally you do what Houston does with Chris Paul and James Harden, and you
Score,
stagger their
score,
minutes.
score, score, score,
And you
score.
stagger their minutes, and whenever one's on the floor, whenever one isn't on the floor, the other is.
Yeah. Although seeing them together in a 2-minute drill would be pretty dope.
No, obviously they're gonna play a lot of their minutes together.
Yeah.
because they're ideally your 2 best ball handlers.
I just
But-
question how D-Book would transition. Because he's so
Yeah.
used to being ball dominant now. How
That's
would
fine.
he work with a point guard?
That's
Cool.
that's an interesting proposition.
Like
but
the
I
way
also
James
think
Harden did
that
with
I think
Chris
Ja
Paul.
Morant's more versatile than that. I think that he can play off ball as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like the way Lonzo plays off ball.
I really like Ja.
Yeah, I
Ja's
like
great.
Ja Morant really impressed me. And I
the-
think he impressed the country.
You know what the sickest thing about Ja is? He's such a good fit next to Booker because he's a very good defender. Or he
Yes.
rates as someone with a very good defensive profile, and that's the biggest
Yeah.
thing for Booker.
Well, the best part is that Cleveland doesn't need a point guard. So
Yeah.
thank God they drafted Sexton.
Cleveland takes RJ with 3.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked. I don't think that that's what they need. I think they need a big guy. I think they need a center,
You know what? I think they need a player.
a not Tristan Thompson
Who do
center.
they have at the wing?
I don't.
Uh,
who cares?
so-
They have SETI. They have SETI and a bunch of players you don't care about.
Yeah.
It's like Rodney Hood if he's still an NBA player,
They,
which he kind of
they
isn't.
basically
I
have
love
to build their
Rodney
whole
Hood.
I
team.
mean, I like Rodney too, but like aside from
I liked Rodney in Utah. That's a
SETI is
very
pretty good.
different
I will give them SETI is pretty good, but it's literally the team is like SETI.
Omari Spellman.
God, what's his name? The point guard, Colin Sexton. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I
dude,
literally just said
come
his
on
name.
now.
I know.
K-Love.
I know.
They
Whatever.
should trade Caleb.
They
Yeah.
should have traded Caleb to Charlotte at the deadline.
Yeah.
but
They
they
absolutely
didn't.
should have. God,
But
that would have
they
been huge.
didn't.
Kemba might have been staying in Charlotte if Caleb was there too. God damn.
Now he's going to San Antonio.
Kemba out. No, please don't go to San Antonio, Kemba.
Sorry,
please.
Jante.
Please,
Sorry.
no.
Sorry.
I hate you, Jake. I hate you so much.
Sorry,
I'm
Jante.
gonna put you on my fight list, you piece of
Oh
shit.
my God.
I hate you so much.
This is when I run the show.
I've literally never wanted anything more in my entire life to watch like a team play 1 through the DeJounte Murray, Lonnie Walker, and DeMar DeRozan, and you're trying to get Kemba in Charlotte in San Antonio. You actual.
I actually
piece of
wouldn't
shit.
mind K-Love going to San Antonio.
Don't go there, Kevin.
Why?
I don't need it. I don't need to
Him-
look at a team
him,
trying to play
LaMarcus?
LaMarcus Aldridge and Kevin Love at the 4 and the 5. I don't need to look at that.
I think that has some
I
potential.
do not want to look at that.
I also want to see what Portland does now that
Nurkic is
Yeah,
out.
can we
Nurkic.
get a rip in the chat?
We need
Pour one
to
out.
we need to rip in
If
the
I had a
chat.
drink, I'd pour it out. I've literally not consumed liquid today, and I would still pour one out for Nurkic.
Oh man.
I wish Grayson was here. I wanted to ask him about how he feels about potentially playing Denver in the first round.
That's a lull.
Dude, it's
That is-
well, the worst part is that they're only 4 games, or no, I'm sorry, they're actually 6 games behind Denver right now for second
Man,
place.
remember when people were talking about the West wasn't that good?
Dude,
The West is insane.
Denver's
about
in
this.
great shape.
Portland and Houston are both below 5 games behind, are both under 5 games back of Golden State.
Yeah.
So there's a chance that Golden State finishes, second or third in the West.
No.
No.
No? You don't think so?
Maybe second.
There's a
If
chance.
Denver gets
I mean,
first, yeah.
there's mathematically a chance, yeah, but there's not a chance. I'm not betting money
They
on
wouldn't
Golden
fall to
State finishing
third because right
anything
now-
other than first. I mean, how long have we been recording now? We've been on here for like an hour plus, hour and a half.
Who cares?
Me?
Why? Where do you get somewhere to be?
Yeah, I got second dinner to have, bro.
He's got a hot
Second
date.
dinner. Alrighty. Well,
Do we miss any March Madness matchups?
just for tonight, no, because
No.
we did 4 games. I
Did we
s-
want to cover the other 4
I don't even know what the other 4 games are.
It's,
we got
uh,
UNC and someone.
It's Duke, Virginia Tech, UNC, Auburn,
Yep.
Michigan State, LSU.
We talked about that one a tiny bit.
yeah, I mean, I still think Duke's gonna beat Virginia Tech despite that one kid playing. You know what I'm talking about? There's a kid on Virginia Tech that passed his drug test after getting caught with marijuana or being charged with marijuana possession.
I actually didn't hear about
Passed
that.
his drug test, so he's playing. He's a starter for Virginia Tech. They've been without him for a while.
Wow.
So he's starting tomorrow, or at least playing,
Okay.
and that's going to be very interesting to see. But I still think Duke's going to win that game.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Duke.
Take Duke.
What's the other one? I can't remember.
It's
Michigan
I know.
State,
I know.
LSU.
I still think LSU's going to win that game.
I
UNC
take
Auburn.
Michigan State, UNC Auburn.
UNC Auburn's going to have has potential.
worried about that.
That
I
has
picked
potential.
Auburn in that game.
Everybody's picking UNC to escape.
I still pick UNC to win that game, but that is going to be a fun
taking
game.
Auburn.
Everybody's picking them to make the
Be a fun
Final
game.
Four, and I'm worried that
Guys.
we're going to look ahead.
I have bad news
Yeah,
about that UNC
that's-
Auburn game. Except Bruce Pearl's a cheater.
Bruce Pearl is a very big cheater. I agree.
But I'm still going to take UNC because they're my boys.
Yeah, but-
Houston, Kentucky is interesting
Oh, that's right.
because they're very
Why does Houston
similar.
keep getting all these like the smaller? Like they got Wofford last round. They whooped Wofford. And
No, they didn't. Kentucky got Wofford.
Kentucky
No, that's what I meant. I meant to say Kentucky. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That Kentucky got Wofford, and now they're getting Houston.
That Wofford game was actually should have been a lot closer. Fletcher McGee went 0 for 12 from 3, and he's the
I don't
best
think
3-point shooter in
Kentucky's
the
as
country.
good as they've been.
That's
They
the biggest
still
thing.
might make it.
Yeah, that's. Well, I have them in the. I have them in my Final Four.
I think Houston's gonna win.
Do you really?
Yeah,
I'm going to take Kentucky just because I want a rematch between UNC Kentucky. 'Cause
that's understandable.
Yeah.
I want that.
That's a pretty sexy Elite Eight game.
I mean, my Final Four is UK, Tennessee, Duke, and Gonzaga.
I got all my Final Four teams still alive. I'm doing
Same.
good.
Same here. So
I didn't do anything bad degenerate this year.
I just don't think LSU beats Duke.
No.
That's the
I
issue,
just don't like the SEC.
dude. I
that's
love
why
it. I don't know. I find myself having this weird inclination this season. Well, actually, I do this every year. I get behind a conference because I watch their conference tournament.
Yeah.
So like last year for me, it was the Big 12. I thought West Virginia was going to do crazy things in the tournament.
West Virginia did do something pretty crazy.
went to
It was
the- they went to the
lose, I think, right?
They went to the 16.
Really?
Did they?
Or no, they got knocked out in 32. Yeah, I
All
think
I
they
know
won their
is
opening game and then they lost. In
every
the
time
next
West
round.
Virginia makes it, they get knocked out early.
Yeah, I was super high on them.
It's kind of same with Maryland.
Rip, rip Maryland.
Pouring out for my guy Bruno.
But SEC has
He was
nice
crying like a little
parity.
bitch after that game too.
I don't blame him.
I don't blame him. I mean, hey, I'd be the same way. But he's going to the NBA, so it
Yeah, he's
doesn't
gonna be a
matter.
lottery pick. Bruno's gonna be fine.
SEC has nice parity, but when you look at it, LSU won regular season. They were not
Yeah.
projected to win regular.
No.
Like
Yeah, they
Tennessee
came out of
or
nowhere.
Kentucky were supposed to win that,
Mm-hmm.
and then neither Tennessee or Kentucky win
The SEC tournament.
and yet they're both ranked better than LSU
and Auburn.
and Auburn. Like, how does that happen?
Dude,
'Cause they are. I think they're functionally the two.
they're
better
just like
teams.
the AAC. They're just like the ACC. Like, if you think about it, the ACC is a very, very, very interesting conference.
We
and
got gypped one bid.
because, well, I'm just saying, like, you got Duke, UNC, UVA, Florida State,
Louisville,
Virginia Tech.
Louisville, Virginia Tech. There are a plethora of teams that can win this tournament and could have won the ACC tournament.
Yeah.
So if you look at it, they both kind of mirror each other because it's like anybody can do anything on any night. That's what makes SEC basketball this season was not necessarily must-watch TV, but it was very entertaining, more so than it has been in the past. And ACC college basketball is always entertaining, regardless.
ACC still has 5 alive. We had like 7 in the tournament total.
I thought it was more than
7 or
seven.
8.
Well, let's count it off.
You lost Louisville,
Yeah, you had Louisville,
We lost
Syracuse.
Syracuse.
You
I think
had
that's it. Oh no, Maryland's a Big Ten team still, right?
yeah, Maryland's Big Ten.
They should never have left.
I
It's
don't
the biggest mistake they
You
could have
think
made.
so?
Yeah. They were thriving in the ACC. As soon as they went to Big Ten, football and basketball just hasn't been the same.
Yeah, I mean, well, it sucks because douchebag Durkin was there for a while. So
Hey, I didn't actually get to say this on the radio show, but fuck you for real.
yeah, fuck DJ.
Like
Durkin.
actually, I will listen. You're on the fight list. That might as well be my fight list. Like I'll gladly throw hands with you.
You're gonna fight Draymond Green too.
Nah, I'm not trying to get my ass beat.
Boy, what? All right, get out of here with that. So
What, you think Draymond wouldn't destroy me?
no, I think I would destroy Draymond, especially in the paint. Meet me one-on-one.
I stand by it though.
So yeah, I mean that's pretty much the show. Like obviously this was the big four. We didn't really intro, but
Yeah.
that's okay. I wanted to start off organically and then move in, but the organic kind of took over. Sorry about that. And Austin and Grayson are gone for the week.
No, forever. This is the show now.
Oh,
This is Ricky, Jake, and Cortland signing off. See you guys in 167 hours or so. Peace, guys.
we love you all. Goodbye.